This small treatise is known as Qawaid al Aqd, or Principles of Contract, Maxims of Contract. And it is written by Dr. Khalid ibn Ali al-Mushayqih, who is a scholar, a current scholar in Saudi Arabia. And it's a derivative work. He tries, in this treatise, he attempts to formulate what the general principles of contract would be in Islamic law. Now, the author himself is a student of Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen. He had studied with him for many years, as well as other scholars. And he's come into his own right as a scholar and become more prominent in teaching and writing on the topics of Islamic law. And he actually mentions here in the introduction that he wrote this book after having taught the topic to many of his students over the years. So he gathered up these principles that he found and he put them into a book. He decided to reconstruct these principles and maxims into a more coherent form, and because of that we get this small treatise. In general, most of the issues of contract that are covered, authors' use of the word principle or maxim is quite broad when we take the word principle into consideration. He includes in his idea of principles things which are categories, as well as definitions and legal particulars, which are generally discussed in the areas of contract law underneath different maxims and different chapters, but they're not necessarily principles. He'll mention several regulatory principles like dawabit underneath those maxims, as well as exceptions to the rule towards the end of the book. However, at the end of the book, he seems to deviate from the higher conceptual ideas that the book starts off with and goes down to more form-based discussions of individual contracts, which he tries to group into different categories or into different principles. For example, he groups loans along with mediation as well as interdiction. And this is all put into one group. And while yes, there does seem to be some tangential connection between the three, it is kind of hard to understand why exactly all of these three are mentioned when one is a standalone contract and the other two are methods of interdiction and mediation, are remedies to problems that arise after contract. He also covers the issue of debt in this chapter, and quite frankly, it's all over the place. Although the information is great, just systemization of this. Business formations and partnerships, the chapter on that is actually quite good, although it's quite small, and it could be improved upon. There is the chapter on prizes and competitions as well that could be improved upon. And there's unfortunately way too little that is said on that topic. Personally, having studied other books that are much more expansive than this one on the same topic, I can definitely see the benefit in studying this book. And in fact, I'll be teaching a version of this book this summer in our summer intensive here in Houston, which will also be offered online. Essentially, I've taken this book as well as several others on the topic, summarized it, reordered it, and tried to stay above the fray and keep the concepts at a high level, and then only go into contractual particulars when there's a need to actually do so. There'll be a few case studies on the topic as well that we'll cover, and I hope it'll be beneficial, and I'll possibly put it out in both English and Arabic later on for my students and readers. To sum up, this is a great small book. It's a quick read. It gives you a very good overview of the ideas of contract, the legal maxims and principles that pertain to them. Barring some of the things that I mentioned before, I think it's a good read. I recommend it if you can get your hands on it. It's small, inexpensive, and I think it would be a great addition to your library. If you've enjoyed this book and have read it before, let me hear from you in the comments. You have any ideas about other books you think might be better? Again, let us hear from you in the comments. Do you have anything that you'd recommend? Why did you like it, dislike it? What did you like about this video? Subscribe, share it with your friends, and let's hear from you and continue the conversation. And I'll see you next time inside my library.